listening to Earth Oddity, a weekly odyssey into all the oddity planet Earth has to offer. And now, serving it up are Christopher Tiny Sullivan and John Long.
John, how are you doing this afternoon?
I'm doing great.
I'm doing pretty good myself.
Yeah, good.
I have Chinese funeral dancers. What you got?
I've got a Florida man attacks a gas station clerk with a corn dog and hot dogs.
Well, right now, I kind of want to talk about Matthew McConaughey.
All
you
right.
like Matthew McConaughey?
All right.
There is a man who has been arrested in Pennsylvania who has continuously identified himself as Matthew McConaughey. Spoiler alert, he is not Matthew McConaughey.
Not. Okay. He's not driving a Buick.
No. And he's not launching into space to save planet Earth.
Yeah, right.
Police responded to a call about a suspicious person who was ringing a doorbell and walking around a residence in George Township, Fayette County on Saturday. Now, that's not Fayette County here.
Dang.
As much as I would like it to be.
That might be related to me.
When they arrived, police discovered the man, later identified as 46-year-old Troy Miller, inside the resident's vehicle and took him into custody. Miller refused to provide his identification, his information, and he continued to identify himself as Matthew McConaughey, according to the police report. Miller was charged with attempted theft of a motor vehicle, false identification to the law enforcement authorities, and loitering and prowling at night. So, yeah, Matthew McConaughey. This dude, do we really know for sure he's not Matthew McConaughey? What if he's Matthew McConaughey from the future, like our story last week?
Like Noah, who came back. He could be, you know. Or maybe it's Matthew McConaughey playing a character, and, you know, like he's like, no, really, it's me, guys. And they're like, no, you're not. He's like so convincing in that role.
Yeah, maybe.
But yeah, I don't know. It's kind of weird. I think out of all the actors, I wouldn't pick one of the more popular ones. You want to be like a B-list, you know. Hey guys, I starred in a Tide Pod commercial. That's what I would roll with. Not a Matthew McConaughey.
Yeah.
But, you know, to each his own. I don't know. I got a really interesting story of somebody else getting out of trouble with the police. Woman defecates in pants to hide drugs.
Okay, how is she hiding?
Well,
maybe this is a lack of creativity on my part, but how is she hiding drugs by pooping her pants?
First of all, I need to say thank you to Casey Dunaway. For those who don't know Casey Dunaway, he's James Elmore's biggest fan. He sent us this story, and so we want to say thank you to Casey for sending that in. If you have any stories you find throughout the week, you know, you can post them in our Facebook group. If you happen to have our direct lines like Casey does, you can text them to us. But this comes from Fox News. In Corsicana, Texas, police say a Texas woman attempted to hide evidence during arrest by defecating in her pants and using the feces to conceal drugs. Okay? Now, Corsicana, if you don't know, is about 55 miles south of Dallas, and they were investigating the report of a theft at a grocery store when they attempted to subdue a female suspect and take her into custody. Police say they placed Shanine Martin in the back of a police cruiser where they say she intentionally defecated in her pants, then hid a crack pipe, 2.3 grams of crack cocaine, and a Valentine's Day card in her excrement. Officers had to sift through the woman's feces to retrieve the evidence after Martin was booked on charges of tampering with evidence and possession of a controlled substance. Yeah.
I like to think the guy who was looking for it was like, oh, here's the right here.
But, yeah, I call her the underwear bomber. This is 2 weeks in a row, we've had somebody in trouble with the law who's used poop to try to get out of it. One of them worked, and one of them didn't. This lady's didn't. So the thing that was puzzling to me is the Valentine's Day card.
Yeah.
Like, why? Like, just take the shoplifting charge if that's what you were stealing or whatever. You know, she wanted to get her honeyboo a nice Valentine's Day card. And you just take the shoplifting charge for that. That's a misdemeanor for something like that. You're not going to do any real jail time. And hope that you get away with the crack pipe and the crack cocaine in your pocket. But I don't know. I don't know that I would duke my pants up and start hiding it all in there. But I've never been in that situation before.
I feel kind of like, we're kind of going lowbrow here with so many of these stories.
I mean, we get a lot of poop stories.
I apologize. But I feel like we have to revisit this one. And this is something I just thought about just now. This comes from the Metro News. Drug suspect on toilet strike for 38 days.
That's right. Poo watch.
Quote, would rather die than take a poo. Yes.
I admire his dedication.
This guy, he's still going. He's still going.
At some point, you just let him go and just be like, hey, well done, man.
I think
you've served your time.
I think he's going to win. Says here, a suspected drug dealer on a record-breaking toilet strike would rather die than take a poo, his lawyer has said. So I guess that was his official statement.
I guess so.
Lamar Chambers, 24, has now spent a whopping 38 days in police custody after Essex police arrested and detained him on January 17th.
Man.
According to court yesterday, his lawyer, Andrew Horstal, said he finds himself in uncharted territory with Chambers. He said his client's life is at risk and he doesn't want to be resuscitated if he collapses. So
Man.
I didn't even know you could collapse from not taking.
I didn't either. I don't. I've went a few camping trips without dropping one, but
you've never gone on a 38
day. Yeah.
Officers believe he swallowed some of the drugs before his arrest in Harlow, and they have been patiently waiting for him to go ever since. But with this waiting game now on its second month,
yeah.
Essex police had no choice but to request more time to detain him in court. Mm-hmm. Which, if you're a police officer, at what point are you like, okay, he's kind of made us look like fools. Maybe we should just let the guy go.
Just let the guy go. You know what they'll say when he gets out, right? But that's a load of crap.
He appeared before magistrates yesterday, where the force applied to keep him in custody until Monday. Mr. Horstal told Chelmsford Magistrates Court on Friday to reject the application. He says justice will be served one way or another. Reject the application and continue with the case as it would be normally dealt with. Prosecutor Bob Rowlingson, however, said it was in the interest of justice to keep Chambers in police custody. Which, is it really?
Just let him go. I'm not a hardline guy anyways, right. But still, I mean, he should be rewarded freedom just for the accomplishment of not pooping 38 days.
He has a record because that was another story that was done. I think this was on day number 25 or day 26.
He broke it.
He broke the English record, which I didn't know they kept up with that kind of thing.
I didn't realize they separated it by nation. If there's like an English record, I wonder what the United States record is, and could I get that? I don't know.
Well, this dude, I mean, I guess he's going in Ripley's, right?
I mean, do they show up like the Guinness people show up with a plaque for him down at visitation hour at this yard?
I mean, this has been, well documented by the Essex police of all people that he did this. Also, I remember when we did cover the story, which was not last week, but week before, when he was on day 22. Yeah. I remember you said, well, how are they going to stop him because of his cell? Apparently, his cell had a special toilet inside it that would
catch pan.
Exactly.
Like an oil catch.
Think of it like a filter. Yeah. That would catch anything. Yeah.
I mean, like, what did he solve that hasn't or swallow that hasn't been dissolved yet?
I don't know. I mean, unless it was wrapped in plastic or something.
Yeah, I don't know. Like a balloon.
Which I assume surely that's the only way they would keep him.
I guess so.
I don't think this is the case, but how hilarious would it be if this dude was completely innocent, but he's just that big a troll that he's going to make him think he's guilty and he's going to break a record.
That would be great. That would be like that's a movie, Not Catch Me If You Can, but something like that. Just a
hashtag Poo Watch in theaters 2020, summer 2020.
Coming to a theater near you. One Man's Quest.
Oh, man.
Yeah, I don't know what it is about Earth Oddity and the poop stories, but they come to us all the time. So we're the Earth's crappiest podcast.
I guess so.
But no, I'm impressed with this guy, and
I'm calling on the Essex County Police, who probably have never even heard this.
Never know. We got a British guy that downloaded this.
Let him go.
Yeah, I mean,
he's suffered long enough.
He has.
Let him go.
And he can just extradite him to another country or like ship him off somewhere and let him do his business there. And then he comes back. You don't have any reason to detain him anymore. Maybe he's learned his lesson,
If they're really determined, maybe they should go, I don't know, install one of these special toilets in his apartment and then let him go.
Yeah, right. You're on house arrest.
Yeah.
Because
That'd be sneaky.
You know how when you gotta go, when you get close to home, like
Yeah.
you turn on the street and then you turn to your driveway, like it intensifies and your keys are in the door and it gets even worse. And then you there's some times where you barely make it. So that may be a good plan. Put an ankle bracelet on him, send him home, let him out. As soon as he gets there, like his body's gonna have that reaction, and then he goes and does his business and case solved or whatever. I don't know what I would do outside of just being like, man, even if I was the cop, I'd just be like, man, I'm impressed with your intestinal fortitude, so to speak, to keep this up. Okay, well, moving along the gastrointestinal tract, we have another story. This is brought to us by Joel Goss.
Uh-oh, here we go.
Joel, possibly the most feared dodgeball player in the 175-year Carroll's Creek Baptist Church history.
Might be.
The kid has got a rocket arm, and good guy, good family. In fact, his sister is at my house right now. Her and Livy were dancing and jamming when I left. But this story Joel notified us about comes from the Register online, and it's a UK-based publication. It says an elderly man's flatulence forced his flight to make an emergency stop after a fight broke out over his barrage of bottom burps.
What? You're joking.
No, passengers flying with budget Dutch airline Transvia from Dubai to Amsterdam were reportedly put out by the man's continued farting, and they asked him to stop. But the man failed to hold it in. Even a direct order from the pilot didn't take the wind out of his sails, so to speak. And so two passengers got mad and took matters into their own hand. The two guys, Dutchman, sat next to the older guy who was bumping out some seat rattlers on everybody. And it escalated to the point where the pilot had to stop and make an unscheduled stop. They landed in Vienna, and armed police boarded the plane to remove the men who caused the ruckus, along with two sisters who were seated next to them.
Oh, man.
They didn't actually arrest the dudes that were trying to beat up the old pooter, but but they banned them from the airline for misbehavior and verbal abuse. Transavia didn't immediately respond to requests for comment. However, it's not the first time that poots have been blamed for flight disruption. Last year, there were reports that an American Airlines flight had to be evacuated due to a foul-smelling fart. But the airline said it was a mechanical fault. So, but this is just some old guy who couldn't hold his gas.
So did they actually land because of that, or did they land because this dude and this other guy got in a fight?
Right. I think the fight really caused it to land. But I'm sure if the pilot's already warned the dude to stop
enough,
then it had to be kicking in there. You know how they seal up an airplane anyway.
That's true.
But old guys, they don't care anymore.
Right.
Like at some point in life, you hit that time where let me think how to put this tactfully, where maybe catching a woman's attention isn't important to you anymore.
Yeah.
Like you've served your purpose as far as advancing the species or whatever, and you just and those dudes, they don't care about anything. It's like, I don't care if I live, I don't care if I die, I do what I want, I say what I want. I go to Hardee's every morning to drink coffee and talk loudly about people as they walk in the door and what they're wearing. I don't care anymore. And that's what this old dude was.
And I'm not letting go of my my ways.
Right, yeah, no, not at all. And And so that's where this guy is, and he had some gas. Well, I mean, anybody who's been around a peepaw knows that a peepaw poop is quite possibly one of the most. I mean, he's had stuff brewing in there for decades. It's just coming out. And so this man, I might would have gotten a fight with him too, especially if I was sitting next to him and he kept ripping them all flight long. And I can't, from Dubai to Amsterdam, that's probably, I don't know, that's a decent flight. You know?
Yeah.
Definitely, probably I'd say 4 or 5 hours. I have no clue. I just made that up. If anybody who's a pilot's listening to this,
sounds
like,
right.
That dude's an idiot. It's a 2-hour flight, or I don't know, but
I would say it depends on how fast the aircraft you're traveling in is going.
That's an excellent point. We've suddenly turned this into a math word problem. If a plane leaves Dubai heading to Amsterdam with a flatulent grandfather on it, at what point do you stop in Vienna? But yeah, I don't know. I just feel like if Peepaw's in there tooting it up on everybody, I would get a little upset too. And I have, as most I think guys, fathers, I have a healthy respect for busting wind,
Right.
I enjoy doing it. It makes my kids laugh. It makes everyone in my house laugh except my wife. So
right.
But sometimes I've been known to run people out of the room, or hit the window lock as we're riding down the road and not giving anybody any air. That's a good one. So I feel like Peepaw is just like, I don't care anymore. And, I ate some baked beans before I got on here and it's time to go.
Well, with all due respect to Peepaw, I suppose that it's there. Grandma was right. Sometimes enough is enough.
You're right. Yeah. But like I say, man, once you've been put out to pasture, so to speak, as a man, I feel like you don't care about anything anymore, and you're just like, I'm going to fart this whole flight. I don't care. I don't care at all.
What are they going to do to stop me?
Yeah. What are they going to do? I'm an old man. That's like that old dude who robbed the bank. He just didn't care anymore. I'm sure. It's like I've been my whole life.
Yeah.
I was pursuing women and trying to be nice, and now I don't care anymore. I don't need to.
Man. Well, I'm going to try to. We'll try to bring the show up a little with this next story. Are you familiar with Black Panther?
Oh yeah.
Are you into the Marvel, the MCU at all?
I'm not like a comic book guy.
Right.
Now, I've watched a few different things, but I don't know. I was just never into superheroes or any of that growing up. So
right. Well, I'll be honest. When I was a kid, I didn't read a whole lot of comic books because it entailed reading.
Yes. Right.
I tended to spend all my money on like Nintendo games.
Yeah.
But I did. I was like big into X-Men. I was big into Spider-Man when I was a kid, and Marvel Universe, they got me. I will go watch anything. It can be like a movie about Squirrel Girl, and they're probably going to get my $10 one Friday night to go see it.
Squirrel Girl sounds interesting.
But the new movie, Black Panther, I got a headline here. This is a story from Twitter, so it's not like a super serious story, but 2 kids dressed as tall man unable to gain admission to Black Panther. They did the old. Let me
get on your shoulders.
They did the old Little Rascals, where one's on the shoulders and they got the big trench coat. Yeah. And they're trying to look like one big tall guy to get the 2 for 1.
I like that. I respect that.
There was a video posted up on Twitter. I would recommend anybody to go check it out because it's pretty hilarious. It's pretty obvious that this is not a 10-foot tall man. This is 2 numbskull teenagers, one on the other one's shoulders.
Man.
The kids decided they wanted to go to a new Marvel superhero film, Black Panther. Good show, just FYI.
Oh yeah,
I saw it. It was decent.
It was really good.
It wasn't my favorite Marvel film, but it was not my least favorite either. Okay. I really enjoyed it. I didn't feel like I wasted my money. I enjoyed it.
I've heard a lot of good things about it.
It's pretty cool.
Yeah.
Anyway,
I just wait till it hits the pay-per-view.
That's probably financially that's probably smarter. Yeah. But like I say, they got me. I'll go to every single one of them.
If you're going to take a family of 5 to the movies, you pretty much have to get somebody to co-sign along with you to forward tickets, snacks.
Well, see, that's what you do. You wait till your family goes to bed and you get up and you go see the midnight show, and then you struggle through church the next day. That's what you do.
Okay, makes sense.
Yes. Anyway, these two kids, they didn't want to pay for 2 movie tickets, so they instead decided to dupe the movie theater's manager and dress as the tall man. It didn't go so well. The duo went to the theater disguised as one tall man under a trench coat, but unsurprisingly, their plan didn't work. However, despite their unsuccessful attempt to save on movie tickets, they have gone viral on Twitter thanks to their hilarious antics. So, and it's pretty funny. Like the video, it's not a very long video, but they're standing right outside the ticket booth, and it looks like it's in a mall.
Yeah.
And there are literally scores of people surrounding them with their phones out videoing this. Like there's no possible way that this could have fooled anybody. And which they probably weren't trying to fool. They were probably just trying to be dumb. So
I'm sure just making a joke.
Accomplished.
Right.
They got their 15 minutes of fame.
Right. Yeah.
And a shout out on the Earth Oddity podcast.
That's right. I'm sure that's their most exciting thing that's happened out of all of it. They'll be like, oh, okay,
these 2 40-year-old dudes.
They respect him.
They're talking about us.
We might could pull that off for a movie. Like the next.
I got top.
Okay.
Don't think that would go too well.
The next Kurt Cameron, like Left Behind movie.
Yeah.
Which
we could go to Mom's Night Out.
Oh yeah, there you go. I saw. I've talked about Babylon Bee before, which is like a satire site, and it was like, new revelations in Scripture reveal that hell is watching Christian movies over and over and over again.
That would be bad. That would be like Sunday school detention.
Oh yeah,
for eternity.
for eternity, you're watching
that would be bad.
Which. I don't want to get off on too much of a tangent here. Like, some of them, Fireproof, all of them, they're really great movies. Just the acting and production level is not what, most people are used to.
Yeah, it's a niche audience.
Right.
And, which limits the film.
I feel like budgets for them have gotten a lot bigger.
They really have.
Because they realized, hey, Christians have money to spend,
And we want that money.
Right, and we want that money. Yeah. And that's fine. That's capitalism in a nutshell. But, beginning when they were first coming out, it was like, some church in Georgia, the guys like me and you playing parts in it, You're like, wow.
We struggle to do a podcast every week.
I know.
So I can imagine having a part in a movie.
Like, the only guy who knows anything about movies is Kurt Cameron, who played on a TV show with a character named Boner. I would like to just bring up to everyone. Which also, a weird thing about that show, what was the name of that show? It wasn't Family Ties.
No, it was Growing Pains.
Growing Pains, yeah. Is that his dad was a psychiatrist, right? Mm-hmm. And he brought in like mental patients into their home. You ever think like, what if there's a schizophrenic that goes crazy and he's right there and kills Kirk and his sister and Boner and everybody else and that little weird kid they brought in towards the end?
Oh my goodness, dude, that needs to happen.
We should make
I was about to say, there's all these shows that are coming back, like Fuller House and everything.
Yeah, right.
That needs to happen.
like a nightmare on. Whatever it was called. What was it called? Growing Pains.
Growing Pains.
Yeah. And you could cut it and make it into like a horror, mystery show. But yeah, like what person's going to bring a mental patient?
Growing Death Pains.
There you go. I like it. That's good stuff. That's good stuff. Yeah. Which Boner died a while back, Did
he?
Yeah. I think they found him dead somewhere, maybe overdosed or something, but...
I'm not going to ask what he overdosed on.
I don't know, but the fact that was a character name.
Yep.
I just, for the kids out there, he was kind of like a skeleton,
Right.
It was kind of, all bones. So when Thomas asked about that later on, that's what that's about for my oldest son.
I'll say there were some... Dude, and I know we're kind of going off on a tangent, but 80 sitcoms, man.
That was wild. It was a wild and woolly time.
Do you remember, and I want to say it was BuzzFeed or somebody did a video about it, but there was an old show, and I wasn't super familiar with it, but it was called It was about the girl was like a robot.
Okay, all right. I was thinking about this show the other day, something like that. I was thinking about that show the other day when I was driving back from one of those stores I'd worked at, and I couldn't remember the name. And
there was an episode where like. It's like a dad. Is it mom and dad or just a dad? I think it's just a dad.
Yeah.
And then he had a son, and then he like designed a robot daughter.
Yes, which is really weird.
Yes,
really weird.
And so the son is like in class, and like one of the little girls like was kidnapped or something. Like her dad had like taken her away from her mom or something. Right. And it's just a really bizarre, because at the end, they're all like, man, I feel so sorry that such and such was abducted. And then the dad's like, well, if you feel bad, you're going to feel good when you eat these brownies I just cooked, took out of the oven. It is bizarre.
I tell you, it was a wild time. You had Who's the Boss, which is like a mom and daughter who hire a hunky, like maid to move in. That's strange, I don't know. It was
Tony Danza.
Yeah, and it's Tony Danza, and who, I don't know. The whole premise of that show seems very, very strange.
Hey, let me live with you. Yeah. Be your housekeeper.
But you got Charles in Charge, who Charles was like, a young, he's like college age guy who's in charge of this, like teenagers. Yeah. It's like a formula for bad things to happen, Yeah. I mean, like any youth director at any church will tell you don't want that to happen. Don't leave that undersupervised without adult supervision. Okay, anyways, off of that tangent.
What you got?
Okay, former Freemason, 51 years old, found drunk and naked inside a huge pipe organ with a toy gun, a remote control police car, says he got lost while trying to hand out cheeseburgers to the homeless.
Heck of a weekend.
That's a heck of a headline right there. But once again, the Illuminati strikes, former Freemason.
Yeah.
Glenn Langford, no relation to former Birmingham Mayor Larry Langford, was arrested on Wednesday after allegedly flooding the Brisbane Masonic Memorial Center and then setting off fire alarms. The 51-year-old faces charges at the Brisbane Arrest Court on Thursday and was granted bail. So he said his intentions were originally well-meaning and that the night had gotten out of hand after downing a bottle of Johnny Walker whiskey. As that tends to happen.
A recipe for
tends to happen. And the court was told he had been meaning to hand out cheeseburgers to homeless people. That's a good thing to do.
It's a good thing to do.
That's right, unless they have a gluten allergy. Food was left scattered on the floor of the Grand Hall of the Heritage-listed temple in Brisbane, which features one of the biggest organs in Queensland. It is feared the organ, installed in the 1930s, may be too damaged to be repaired, despite it being insured for $1 million.
Wow.
Which, I don't know a lot about the Freemasons other than they secretly control our world and all the machinations of that happen.
And they also have a secret treasure that Nick Cage is always looking for.
Yes. But I didn't know they were like into organ music, so.
But I didn't either, but that totally sounds like a Freemason thing.
Yeah, I get on there and play some
organ music is kind of creepy.
Spooky, right?
And it totally makes perfect sense that you would find one in a Masonic lodge.
Yeah, doing whatever, sacrificing babies or whatever they do in there, I don't know what they do. My grandfather was a Freemason.
I was about to say, just so everyone knows, it's a joke, everybody. It's a joke.
To any and all Freemasons / Illuminati,
please don't kill us.
Don't kill us. We're just joking, okay? I've come from my grandfather was a Freemason. I don't believe he was killing babies or anything like that. I think it was some dudes that just like to get together and probably play cards or something.
We think it's great that y'all get together at Bohemian Grove and dress like women and plot to take over the world. Burn
something in effigy in front of an owl. I don't know. It's crazy. I don't know. But he also busted up some walls in there as well. So I think he was getting drunk and probably started punching some stuff. The magistrate heard from Mr. Langford's lawyer, who explained that he had last week lost his job and was getting over the breakdown of a 16-year relationship. Okay, so you break up with your girl of 16 years, lose your job. That's driven many a man to drink, But it hasn't driven many men to break into a Mason lodge, crawl naked into the organ with a toy
And
gun.
leave cheeseburgers everywhere.
Yeah, leave cheeseburgers littered around the floor.
I wonder how much he spent on McDonald's before he went
I don't
there.
know, man. I bet you that was a wild order. You know, if he either walk up or drive through, I bet you it was pretty wild.
But you know what? To the lady who's at the 24-hour McDonald's, I'm sure she's heard crazier. She's probably like, yeah, whatever.
But he was granted bail, and his quote here was, "Things got a little loose. I was out of it." He apologized to, quote, "all the righteous Freemasons everywhere." Now, I don't know what that means for the unrighteous Freemasons.
Spoiler alert, you might be in that category, dude.
And he went on to say, "I did have a lot of cheeseburgers to give to the homeless. I'm going to see a shrink and don't drink anymore," he added. So I think I feel like there was an error there in what he did. But yes, Mr. Langford just went a little wild with, his plan.
I tell you what, if I would have been the lead detective on that case, I think I would have taken that opportunity to be like, okay, what do you really know?
I mean, but
got him in that interrogation room.
Right. Tell us what they
really
do.
goes on.
What really goes on in there. But look at that dude, right? If you don't tell me that guy in the picture won't drink a little bit with you, this ain't his first bottle.
How did he get into the organization?
I don't know.
Because I am not an expert on Freemasonry, so I could be totally wrong. If I am, feel free to email the show and explain to me.
Yes, Masons.
But
look, we will bring a Mason on if we know one.
But I feel like if I walk up and knock on the door, they're not going to let me in. Like, only certain people can join.
Okay,
so how did that dude join is what I want to know.
The saying that I've heard is to be one is to ask one. So, like, if you know a Mason and you're interested in joining, then you go to a Mason and be like, "Hey, man, I want to join." And then they do whatever it is they do. Like,
they do some spooky occult rituals.
Yeah, I don't know, like shake a chicken feather over you and make you recite some stuff, I imagine,
and your tongue will be pulled out by his roots if you ever say what goes on back here.
We're going to kill you, and then you go in and plot how to run whatever local government you're at. And as you move up in degrees in the Mason Lodge, the next thing you know, you're controlling the president, the UN, everything else in the world. So, I mean, if all that's true, I don't know, but some people believe that. But I don't think my grandfather was, a diabolical person. He was the 1976 Fett County Man of the Year, by the way. He has a trophy. Someone in our family still has that trophy. So I don't think he was a bad dude, unless the Masons got him that award as some kind of cover for the, whatever he was doing. Oh man, my entire world just got shattered thinking about that.
Here's hoping you don't ever find any photos in the attic.
I don't know. I've also been to a Masonic funeral before. Which is kind of wild. I mean, very different than your normal funeral. So a lot of pageantry that you wouldn't get as your normal Baptist. Let's say a few prayers and have somebody sing, and then we're all going to go eat casseroles afterwards. A lot of stuff.
Well, speaking of funerals, I'll tell you what else very different would be a certain Chinese funerals. Have you heard about this?
I have.
And
I'm very interested in it, by the way. I don't know that Dieter would go for it, but
and just so everyone out there knows, this is going to be a heavily churched up rendition of this article. I'm not going to read it as it is. And the headline is, China wages war on funeral dancers.
Yeah.
Wink, wink.
Let's just say dancers.
Yes. China has launched its latest crackdown against a phenomenon which just won't seem to die in rural areas. Funeral dancers. Wink, wink. The Ministry of Culture said last month that it was targeting certain types of dances and other obscene and vulgar performances at funerals, weddings.
Weddings.
And here in America, that typically takes place like a night or two before.
Yeah, right. Yeah, I didn't know you would do it. I don't think the bride would be down with it. I can't see Dieter being like our wedding day at the reception.
No,
of course, we're Baptists. There's no dancing anyways. But,
right.
Yeah,
you can't square dance where we go to church.
No, you can't even square dance.
And other traditional Chinese New Year public gatherings, the war on dancers at funerals has been a long one for China. Authorities first began clamping down on obscene performances in 2006. So this has been going on 12 years now. And launched a second campaign in 2015. I guess the 2006 campaign was not as successful as they meant for it to be. The latest is focused on 19 cities across 4 provinces. I'm going to do my best. Henan, Anhui, Jiangsu, and Hebei. A statement on the website of the Ministry of Culture said, some communities in rural China reportedly believe that bigger attendances at funerals helps to honor the dead and bring them good fortune.
That makes sense.
I mean, I guess that would be a way to get
You want to bring in a
people-
crowd? Get some dancers at your funeral.
Yeah. Some experts say the exotic shows pay tribute to fertility.
Okay.
According to the interpretation of cultural anthropology, the fate is originated from the worship of reproduction. Media professor Kong Haiyan said, according to the Global Times. Therefore, the exotic performances at the funeral is just a cultural
Atavism.
Yes. Reports say the new campaign involves people being offered financial rewards to contact a special hotline to report funeral misdeeds.
Aww.
So this is just basically, hey, we need all you snitches there. We're going to reward you financially if you call in and report your great grandpa.
This is taking see something, say something to a whole new level. Because if you see something, you better say something. And if you go to Pawpaw's funeral, there's a good chance you're going to see something.
Maybe you go to a funeral and you don't have any ones, so you go call this hotline. Media has often blamed the shows on the increasing decadence and materialism of Chinese families as the country opens up to the West.
Okay.
So I feel like this is basically them saying, hey, it's America's fault.
Right, yeah.
Yeah.
Well, apparently this is the Southern Baptist sect that's going against this in China.
Yeah. Oh. But, man, that is bizarre.
Yeah.
That,
I mean,
it's a big enough thing that the Chinese government is trying to shut it down.
well, if you're a father in China and you find out your daughter's dancing, that's got to be tough. If you're a father anywhere,
Right.
That's a tough one to take.
I would imagine one of the first questions you ask yourself is, how did I do this?
Where did I go wrong?
Yeah.
But if you find out she's a funeral dancer, that's got to really hurt. I feel like, okay, there are different establishments and different levels of the, like there's super nice ones, and then there's Wesley's in Summerton, Alabama that people know about. All right. So
I didn't know, John.
Okay. Well, thought you may have driven by at some point between Jasper and Birmingham.
Right.
But, the talent level at, Wesley's is not going to be good at, say, as good as you would get in Las Vegas somewhere.
Right.
From what I've told, Mom, I don't know for sure. I'm just going off of news articles I've read and accounts from people. But I imagine that the funeral level has got to be bottom rung. I don't know, because, who's ever in the casket doesn't care. But I don't know. It just seems to me like that would be bottom rung.
Right.
And if you're a dad, you'd just be like, baby,
I'm just imagining like the Yang Yang combination club / funeral parlor.
Yeah, that's right.
Where you go to honor the dead.
It's got a buffet too.
I'm just trying to picture a eulogy with this going on in the background.
And now welcome to the main stage, Destiny.
Y'all give it up for Destiny and for John Long, who passed away. He is survived in life by his wife and 3 children.
Don't forget to tip your bartenders and your dancers.
Get next, out your ones.
The more you pay, the more they play. I've heard they say stuff like that in other places. I don't know that I would know firsthand, but I've just watched a few movies, documentaries about that kind of type of stuff. So,
well, I feel like the Chinese government is kind of tough on censorship, but I'm with them on this.
Yeah,
I'm with them. I just want everyone out there to know that you
don't want to send your loved one off into the great beyond.
Yeah.
Hopefully, they're going to heaven, but I don't know that I know that Christianity is not huge in China. They kind of keep that under wraps, but I don't know that having a dancer there is going to help anything out. It's definitely not going to leave a good impression when he shows up at the pearly gates.
Oh man,
I'm just saying. All right, so Billy Graham passed away. You would never have any of that at his funeral.
No.
Never. All right, I'm just saying we should all be more like Billy Graham.
Yeah,
so,
we should.
Yeah.
We should all be more like Billy Graham.
I'm so far away from him that it's I'm struggling my best to get there. So but I'm not gonna have dancers at my funeral.
No.
Now I do want a mini kiss band, like a midget kiss band at my funeral. No joke. I've had my whole funeral planned out already, and that's one of the things I want is a mini kiss band. I also want people with T-shirt cannons, like cheerleaders or something, to shoot out T-shirts to
Not
the crowd.
dancers, but cheerleaders.
Yeah. I mean, they could be male.
Totally
They could be male cheerleaders. It don't matter.
It could be Texas A&M's cheerleaders.
Yes. Right. Yeah, the milkman guy that wear like white uniforms. Yeah. But I want them to shoot out T-shirts out of T-shirt cannons, and if you happen to catch one that's going to read, I went to John's funeral and all I got was this lousy T-shirt, and I feel like that would be fun.
That sounds like a blast.
Yeah, I want to have fun.
I cannot wait till you die.
If I know, if I know I'm going to die ahead of time, like so, if I find out tomorrow I got some terminal disease, I'm going to pre-record a message for the audience there, where I just get to say whatever I want to, and I'm going to take. I don't want to give away all my secrets, but there's going to be someone there, and I'm just going to spend like 5 minutes talking about what a horrible person they are and how much I don't like them, and then I'm just be like, just kidding at the end, like I'm just messing with you, man. I don't know. I have it all. I got it all planned out. I doubt Deidre will do any of it, but I do.
I look forward to cutting together a sappy montage of all the Earth Oddity clips of John.
Oh yeah, and that's on my tombstone I want he killed the bear that killed him, engraved on it. Yeah. I mean, even if I die, trip and fall down the stairs and break my neck, I want that on there because 100 years from now somebody will be like, wow, that dude sounds pretty awesome, which is from Jeremiah Johnson, by the way, the movie. If you haven't seen that, or those people out there, but I told you I was sick for a long time, but I saw a lot of people had that one, so I'm going to go, he killed the bear that killed him.
I want, you should see the other guy.
That's pretty good. Yes, that's pretty good. All right, let's move on here. Let me pull up this next story, which is shark falls from the sky and lands in James Hill's garden in Whitstable.
You mean Sharknado's real?
It definitely is real. A man was left stunned after finding a shark in his back garden when it fell from the sky while he made a cup of tea. James Hills was 26, and was in the kitchen of his family home when Dad Colin alerted him to the 2-foot-long spotted cat shark.
A cat shark?
I didn't know there was a cat shark. Wow.
Was it being chased by the dog shark?
I guess so. They believe that it was dropped from a seagull. Like a seagull picked it up and was going to eat it and then dropped it in mid-flight.
So not quite as exciting as Sharknado.
Yeah.
But fascinating nonetheless.
Right. James is an engineer and part-time rescue boat volunteer for the Tankerton Bay Sailing Club. Man, if I could read, I think I would be a dangerous man, but I just can't. I said Alabama. People say education's bad in Alabama. We prove it true once a week here.
They're right.
It says, I was just making a cup of tea when my dad walked into the kitchen and said, what's the name of the small native shark that lives in the UK? So I said it's a dogfish, which is also confusingly known as a cat shark.
Oh, so dogfish or cat shark, same thing.
Tomato. And asked what he wanted to know, and he said, hey, there's one in the back garden. Says he couldn't believe it, and there it was lying on the lawn. It was at least 2 feet long and had been dead for a couple of days. So he prodded it for a bit, like any good redneck would do. Poke it with a stick for a little bit. And then carried on with my day. He didn't even do anything. So
how fresh is it? Maybe you pick it up and
fry you up a little
basket of fish and chips.
That's right. And he said, since then it's all been a bit nuts. He says, I think everyone's especially interested because of the Sharknado films.
And that got me.
Yeah, he says, I think it must have been picked up by an overambitious herring gull or cormorant, whatever that is. I imagine some seafaring bird.
Yeah.
Or something who has dropped it. And here he is with his picture with it. Look at his face. He looks like a pretty fun guy. It said the small spotted cat shark is a shallow water shark with a slender body and a blunt head and a sandpaper-like skin. It has 2 dorsal fins, and it's usually eats crustaceans, mollusk, and fish for its diet.
Right.
And it's common across the globe. The species is residing off the coast of Norway, the British Isles, Senegal, and the Mediterranean, which they said across the globe. They really only named places around Europe and Africa, the Mediterranean Sea. So hadn't seen any of those down in the Shark or in the Gulf, but it's been kind of interesting. You're just sitting in your house, getting your little morning tea in, and a shark shows up.
Well, I've got one last story to discuss. We're not going to spend a lot of time on it, but guess who we're fixing to talk about? You know it. It's the
our
dude.
Man, elongated muskrat.
The best way to transform Mars into an Earth-like planet. The fast way and the slow way. The fast way is drop thermonuclear weapons over the poles.
You're a super villain.
Did you have weird sciences like under that last week when you played it? I didn't even notice that, but I like Weird Science.
It's awesome.
Really a great movie, by the way. Ushered me into manhood, so to speak.
It's also a great stinger for talking about Elon Musk.
So really, that movie was when I really noticed girls to begin with.
Right.
I was just like, okay, yeah, girls are actually kind of good looking. They're not gross anymore.
Well, last week, and shout out to Jason Thigpen for Thiggy Thigface for turning us onto this. Last week, he launched another rocket. I mean, I know that's his business.
Dude,
he does that
he's launching rockets left and right. Like it's nobody's business,
yes.
really.
Well, he launched a rocket into space.
You believe
again,
all that.
if you believe
Yeah,
that.
right.
With 3 satellites as its payload. One was for some other company, but 2 of them were prototypes of his. Do you know what he plans to do with it?
I don't know. I don't know what he's going to do.
Well, these 2 satellites, and I'm trying to go on memory here, were Titan A and Titan B, and they are prototype satellites that he is going to try to use to basically create a satellite constellation.
Okay.
So, obviously, internet is kind of a big deal.
Yeah.
If you're listening to us, you've probably got us off of the internet.
That's true.
And there are some... It's hard to say. Can you say that for me?
Rural?
Yes.
Rural.
Some rural places.
Rural if you're from the country. It's called rural.
They still can't get internet there.
Yes.
And there's satellite internet now, but it's kind of lacking. You can get some decent download speeds, but the upload speeds are terrible.
Yeah.
He plans to remedy to this by putting satellites in like a low Earth orbit, basically bringing them down closer to the planet so you get better internet.
Yeah.
Now, the problem with that is when they're not as high, they don't cover as much of the
area,
globe, or plane, whatever you think.
Whatever you think we are. On the back of a turtle, I don't know.
Yeah, so do you know how he plans to remedy that?
How's that?
He plans to remedy that by putting thousands of satielites into space.
Okay. Well, makes sense.
Yeah, and if he can do this, he will be able to get... His goal is to... I mean, he's got the car company, he's got the boring company, he's got SpaceX. Now he wants to get into worldwide satellite or internet coverage, and he wants to use all these profits from this internet endeavor that he's doing to fund his plans to take us to Mars.
Okay,
like not me and you personally, but take humanity to Mars.
I would sign up to go though.
Oh yeah,
man. I wanted to be an astronaut when I was little more than anything in the world. My parents would never send me to space camp, so I blame them for me not becoming an astronaut.
And space camp is only 3 hours away from us. It's not like you were asking to go to the other side of the world.
I mean, but back like in the late 80s, it probably cost like $100. My parents were going to put that down for me to go there,
Yeah.
No way. I was already playing, Little League Baseball or something, and they didn't want me to do that. But Yeah, I feel like maybe if I would have shown up at space camp, they'd have probably been like, wow, this guy's got a lot of natural astronaut talent. That,
Yeah.
he's intelligent and extremely handsome.
And
And
like, this dude's from Mars.
Yeah,
we gotta
right.
send him back.
so I could have been an astronaut. But no, no, I'm not. I'm a failed restaurateur as well as, a little phone call.
Dadgummit.
That's fine. Leave it in there. Leave it in there. It could have been our first calling guest. Get a Papa Jim on.
That's what I say. My dad, he's probably going to call back 3 times, so we may have to.
Bring him on the air. But so I just feel like I could have been an astronaut. Mom and Dad didn't help me reach my potential of that. And the next thing you know, I'm selling furniture for a living. It's close, almost the same thing. I mean, except for spaceships and stuff.
Well, now, me personally, I've watched Interstellar with Matthew McConaughey.
Yes.
And space is a scary thing. So I'm not going to Mars until there's a Domino's pizza there. At that point, maybe I'll think about going to Mars, but I'm not going to Mars until there's Domino's.
I will go first time. If Elon Musk calls me and says, I want you to go to Mars, I'm like, okay. First, I would say what any married man would say is, let me ask my wife first.
Yeah.
Okay? But I feel like she would probably be down with it.
What if he says your kids can't come?
That's fine.
Leave them with
mom and the kids got to stay back.
Mom and people.
I don't know if my mom would sign up for that.
Be like, cha-ching.
But like I was saying, I don't feel like he would let our whole family go just because Libby would break something on the spaceship immediately. Trying to do a cartwheel on the side of some control panel, and we would die. But if it was just like me solo, I feel like my wife would be like, "Go, honey, become a legend." And
so she can marry that young Latin
guy.
and
then she finds Alejandro, who's got abs and defined muscles in his body instead of like me. So but I would go in a heartbeat.
Well, here's hoping.
Yeah,
I tell you what, I don't know if. Well, who knows? I mean, you know what? We don't know the future, and it's moving at an alarming pace right now. I do think we will see, private space travel in our lifetimes. Maybe even cheap enough that we could even go up there. You know,
I would just go up and take a loop around it. Around the world one time and land back down. That'd be totally cool.
People who know me know that I'm a pretty big guy, pretty heavy.
Little bit.
I have always, my whole life, wanted to know what it was like to be weightless and to just float around. Take that basketball and just dunk.
Yeah, yes.
And then kick off the backboard. That would be so much fun.
Yeah, that would be cool.
Yeah.
I agree. I would like to know what as a short person, would like to know what it's like to dunk too.
Yeah.
Now, for a while, we had our goal at the house adjusted down to about 6.5 feet, so I would dunk. And the kids are small enough that they thought it was really cool. Yeah.
You didn't tell them that you lowered it. They probably thought it was still 10 foot.
They'll grow up thinking their whole life that Dad could dunk a basketball.
Dunk a basketball.
They asked me now, come out and play ball with me. Nah, I'm good. So their only memory is me just tomahawk jamming. If I die tomorrow, they can tell their folks, their kids, well, yeah, your grandfather was awesome. He could dunk a basketball,
I remember the where I went to elementary school, or at least where I went to elementary school, first through fifth grade.
Yeah.
They had the short, 6 foot, goals on the blacktop, and I used to look so forward to. It's gonna be so cool when I'm tall enough that I can dunk. And then of course when I get that tall, it was time for me to go to another school. So I was like, dadgummit. I think they had regular size goals at Fed Elementary when I was there. Mm-hmm. We also had this slide that was, it was so high up in the air, and it was straight up metal, so it burned your legs in the summer. It's always hot down there anyways. That whole playground was a death trap, looking back at it. Yeah.
It was monkey bars with just hard dirt underneath it, none of that
seesaws that go 6 foot in the air.
Oh yeah, the seesaws were so high. Yeah, it was just a different time, I guess. But I don't know. But yeah, I'm down with Elon. Elon, when you listen to our podcast, like I know you do every week,
feel free to come on.
Yeah, just call me. I'll go to Mars. I'll go up and ride in your car. Launch me out in a car and then retrieve me back and bring me home. I'd be good with that.
That'd be awesome.
Yeah.
Well. You know, I don't even know why I played that stinger.
We have no
once
news.
again, we don't have any community news. Although I did want to say, I heard back, I don't know if you heard this, I got some feedback that people were having trouble leaving iTunes reviews.
Yes. Yeah, my cousin Todd said that, who's really, like, probably one of the most brilliant people that I know. Dude's, like, super successful and does software stuff, so it's not like me having trouble. I feel like maybe iTunes is trying to keep us down.
Maybe they're onto us.
It's a Masonic plot.
Maybe. But, my brother-in-law, he was going to leave us a review. He was going to, like, post and copy and paste like a hilarious review from somebody else, and he said that you couldn't do it.
Wow.
So maybe, I guess maybe their algorithms, they won't let us steal reviews.
Yeah,
which is,
man,
it's probably a good thing.
Yeah, that makes sense. But still.
So instead, this week we're going to do Amazon reviews. Let's see if those will slip by.
That's right. Yeah.
So 5-star Squatty Potty review. Feel free to copy, paste, drop it.
Yes.
Drop it for us.
I like that.
And if maybe that'll work.
Maybe.
If it don't, keep trying.
Yeah.
We've got 15 reviews, and I know for a fact that more people have at least tried to leave us reviews.
Right.
So keep at it. It's really important. It means a lot.
Yes. Well,
continue to send in your Bigfoot encounters.
Right. We have yet to get a Bigfoot person. I actually tweeted like the finding Bigfoot people,
Yeah.
With our little wanted Bigfoot stories poster. None of them gave me anything.
We'll talk about this more off the show, but I actually have a contact.
Oh,
so
that's right. Yeah,
I've got a phone number.
Boom.
So we're definitely working on it. It probably won't be anytime soon, but we're going to put together an awesome Bigfoot show. We're probably going to quit talking about it now until it's closer to being ready. But stay tuned.
If you know anybody who's seen a Bigfoot, just send them our way.
Yeah.
Or have heard one, or smelled one, mated with one. I don't know. I've seen some hairy people in my life.
One threw rocks at you. Don't Bigfoots like to throw rocks at people?
Yeah, they'll chunk a rock in a heartbeat.
Yeah.
I mean, they're rock throwing sons of a gun. Which, happy birthday to my friend. It was a few days ago, Jerry, who is the greatest rock throw I've ever seen in my life. The kid could throw a rock. Jerry,
maybe he's part Bigfoot.
It might be. His name's Jerry Heron. You may know him from Fed. He's a few years younger than me, but we were in scouts stuff together, and the guy could throw a rock. Not only with distance, but with accuracy. And still one of the most impressive things I've ever seen in my life is that dude chunking a rock probably a quarter of a mile. I mean, I'm not kidding. I'm not Uncle Rico in it. This kid can throw a rock. So, and he listens, so, happy birthday, Jerry Curl.
That's awesome. You can send in your emails to earthoddity@planetmail.net. You don't even have to have a reason to email in.
Just email us.
We really would like to engage with our audience. We want to know, what do y'all think of the show? What do y'all want us to talk about? What do you want to ask us? What do you want us to, whatever. We would just love to engage with you.
Right. Just like a, hey, what's up, dudes? Something like that's fine.
Yeah.
I mean, I know people are downloading the show, and outside of like my mom and my wife, I know there's other people.
Yeah.
So just say what's up,
Yeah.
Like, let's be friends if I don't know you.
Join the Facebook group.
Yeah. Earth Oddity Podcast.
Yeah, and the Earth Oddity Podcast also has a regular Facebook page, not just a group.
Right.
So feel free to go like
too.
it. Feel free to go review it.
Yeah.
You can follow us on Twitter @_Earth Oddity.
Yep.
And we have an Instagram too. What's the Instagram?
Earth_Odyssey_podcast.
Yeah.
So.
Although it's Oddity.
Oh yeah. Oops. Yeah. Well, sorry.
Earth_Oddity_podcast.
Oddity. Not David Bowie.
Yeah. We'll see y'all next week.
Bye-bye, guys.
We're out of here.
This has been a very odd production. Thanks for listening.